just the serenity and the calm of the place. Most people will go stay in Cannes or eventually cross over to the first island, but not so much the second one. So the second one is a bit untouched, and because the monks are there, it's so peaceful and quiet.
That is just one of the hidden gems to be revealed in this episode focused on the French Riviera. Obviously a hugely popular place to travel, but behind every well-touristed destination, there is a world of best-kept secrets waiting to be discovered. That's what this episode is all about, and today's guest, Cédric Pages, brings the goods. He's a local expert and founder of WhatToDoRiviera.com, which features some of the best French Riviera tours and experiences, and which strives to support local tour operators. Today, you'll hear Cédric's top 7 hidden gems of the French Riviera, including an epic coastal walk, the, quote, Grand Canyon of Europe, which town makes the best base for you to explore the area, and loads more. On top of that, you're going to hear about his transition from IT to tour guiding. It was a complete lifestyle redesign built around human connection and travel. And you know, I'm a sucker for the real story behind those lifestyle redesigns that are built around a love of travel. So all of that and much more happening in this episode right now. So buckle up, strap in. Thanks for being here, and welcome to the Zero to Travel podcast, my friend.
You're listening to the Zero to Travel podcast, where we explore exciting travel-based work, lifestyle, and business opportunities, helping you to achieve your wildest travel dreams. And now your host, world wanderer and travel junkie, Jason Moore.
Hey, it's Jason here with ZeroToTravel.com. Welcome to the show. Thanks for hanging out, letting me bring a little travel into your ears today. This is the show to help you travel the world on your terms, to fill your life with as much travel as you desire, no matter what your situation or experience. And I had a personal reason for wanting to bring on our guest today. As you'll hear in the top of this interview, I have a bit of a connection to the French Riviera. I'm not going to spoil anymore. I'll let you listen as a part of this interview segment. And don't forget, by the way, before we slip and slide into the conversation, ZeroToTravel.com/newsletter is where you can get our free weekly newsletter and keep in touch off the podcast. Would love to welcome you into the community over there. Thank you for being a part of this listening community, by the way. I haven't said that in a while, and I do want to express my gratitude for your presence here. And I appreciate you. I just appreciate you being a part of our wacky little corner of the internet here and being united with all of these people who love travel. You might not be able to see them, but they're listening right along with you, and you are part of this global listening community. So I thank you very much for that. Stick around on the back end if you would like to. I have some triple Fs to share. One triple F. That's fun facts about France, and a mantra that can pump you up. This one from a famous French historical figure. We'll close out with that. Plenty for the Francophiles and just the curious in this one. Let's get into it right now. Thanks for listening, and enjoy my conversation with Cedric. Cédric Pages, welcome to the Zero to Travel podcast, my friend. Good to see you.
Hi, Jason. Thanks for having me today. It's actually my first podcast with you guys, so that's amazing. It's a good opportunity to get into something different, get out of the comfort zone, right?
Nice. Yeah. Well, I love when it's somebody's first podcast. That means they haven't been, making the rounds. So this is all fresh for you, recording a podcast. You're going to crush it, man, because you have a specialty in terms of a destination. You focus solely on the French Riviera. You've got WhatToDoRiviera.com is a sort of your main hub for that. And I know you started with free walking tours in Antibes, if I'm correct, if my research is serving me properly.
You did well.
Yeah, no, it's funny because my first introduction to France many moons ago on my first solo backpacking trip was Antibes. Antibes, I should say.
Oh,
that was my first destination in France. I ended up there and I'm just like, I didn't know anything about the French Riviera. I don't even know why I ended up there. I think just because like the train was going that way or something. And it just ended up being this wonderful, spectacular experience. And I haven't been back since.
Well, you need to come back then.
That's part of what I'm trying to do here is like get people pumped up, and I want to learn a little bit more about what to do. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically there's a lot more to it, but I have started with the free walking tours. You've been lucky to arrive in Antibes, to be fair. There's plenty of people who come to the French Riviera and don't even get to Antibes. They just get just directed with the big names of Cannes, Monaco, Nice, and they just stick to these places. But they quite often can forget about Antibes, which is, as you know, one of the most beautiful coastal city on the Riviera. So you've been very lucky to get there.
It was a magical time, and I remember meeting some interesting folks there at the hostel. They were, going down to the docks every day, trying to like just figure out ways that they could earn a little bit of money, just to jump on boats or to earn some money to keep traveling. It was really cool. We're going to get into your top 7 sort of off the beaten path Riviera experiences in a bit, but I want to dig into your story first because you have an interesting kind of background. You went from IT, which is like all about tech and computers, to what you said on LinkedIn, on your LinkedIn profile, which was you wanted to start replacing computers with humans.
That's great.
So, I mean, that's just like a total shift. I mean, when did that sort of mindset shift begin for you?
So about 10 to 15 years in the IT corporate world, doing mostly, system and network and all the security part of things. So quite, intense in terms of tech. But get a bit sick of the corporate thing and how you get stuck into a particular box and you can't really have freedom to do other things. What happened on my last experience with a big European company was that I couldn't get any time out to just simply be with my daughter. So when I had my little girl, I was working, the 9 to 5, which in France mostly ended up being, 7 to 6 or 7 to 7. And then you got the traffic in between to commute. So I was leaving in the morning. She was asleep. I was coming back at night. She was asleep. So it's like, I'm missing out on my little girl. You don't make a child to just, run away and just let some other people deal with it. Especially because I didn't have really a present father on my childhood. So I wanted to be there for her. So that was the call to say, look, I need to change something in my life, and starting digging on, what do I like? What's my passion? What's my personality? What I will be good at? So because I've done quite a bit of traveling and I went through a lot of these free tours over the world, it quickly pops to my mind that, I'm quite an extrovert. I like talking to people. I'll speak for hours. So we need to monitor our time today because I can go for long. But I quickly decided, well, look, there's nothing really in Antibes made for English-speaking people. There was only the tourism board who was offering French tours. I was not convenient, not a good support. I'm like, well, I'm going to start something. I'm going to create my own company. I'm just going to go for being a tour guide. So I studied the whole history, talked to all the old people in town, tried to get all the juicy things, the fun facts and everything. So that's where it all started. And I created the anti-free walking tours to start with. So that was only me. And then as the tour was starting to grow organically, people were starting to ask, why, like, would like to do a e-bike tour or a tasting tour. It's like, all right, well, I should probably be able to organize something like this. So I started creating all these different tours around it after that I was trying to, of course, all manage on my own to start with. So I was piling up 2, 3, 4 tours in a day sometimes. So it was quite intense, especially under the big sunny French Riviera. So it can be challenging, but I was just loving it. I was vibing every day going to work. I was lucky enough to be living close to the city, so I was commuting by foot as well. And that was just a totally different world. I was like, oh my God, no car stress in the morning, walking along the beach to go to work, meeting some new people, telling stories. I was in my element straight away. So that's been the beginning of it, and it's been growing into different tools. And then obviously at some stage I'm like, I can't do it all myself. So I started to get a few more people involved and come and help me. So I've got a few regulars, and then I've got different contractors now also that can provide very specific experiences, like the croissant making classes or the baking classes, cooking classes. So I've got some chefs that I work with. I've got, plenty of drivers as well, so we can commute people and take them to different places around. And they're just loving the experience. So we keep on growing. And actually, our website, like you talked about, What to Do Riviera, is used to be only displaying our own activities and experiences, but it's starting now. Like we got some other suppliers around us starting to reach out and say, "Oh, it would be cool if you can feature us on your website, because we like what you're doing and we offer different experiences than yours. But building a new platform would be a great thing." So we're starting to becoming a bit of a hub where we select our partners and we can offer also other activities that not necessarily we us running, but we trust these people.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the reasons I wanted to speak with you, because you have like the bird's eye view of the different things you can do in the Riviera region, but also you have the on-the-ground experience, like you mentioned, starting with the free walking tour company and being the guy on the ground. And that's still like, really, thanks for sharing about your daughter and kind of where you were in life, because that's, we appreciate like that sort of honesty and vulnerability here on the show. I think that it's interesting because you could have chosen at that point to take your IT skills and just like, okay, well, I'm going to start a company and work remotely, and then I can just be at home. And you could still have the sort of same freedom, but you decided to do something where you were more in the community, you were able to interact with people, and something around travel. First of all, I just had a quick question. The free walking tour model, how does that work? Like, how does when somebody says, "Oh, I'm going to start a business," and you have a family and you got to earn a living, and then you're like, free walking tours, is that just like, I'm pretty sure how it works is it's just like really tip based, right? Like whatever tips you make is kind of your salary. Is that correct?
That's it. So it's a very popular concept all over the world, and especially in big cities. It's a bit more challenging in smaller ones like ours, to be fair. So we do run the Antibes and the Cannes one now as a tip-based tour. Nice is a partner. It's not me, but it's a partner that I trust and I've been working closely with for many years, and they deliver good tours as well. When I started, I was like, what am I doing? And then you have very little clients to start with. You need the momentum to build, with like your websites and everything, referrals, trying to get through all the OTAs eventually to promote you a little bit, and like talk to all the hotels and try to ask them, like, send your clients over. I will look after them. We'll kind of deliver something really great for English speaking. So it all built up with time. But yeah, it was a bit of a jump and a risky move in a way. But it's, when you throw yourself into something and it's becoming, or it is your passion. Not IT was my passion as well, to be fair. The tech part of it, less the management and
less the corporate part.
Yeah. But so we built up on this, and then the tip-based concept is working still. Now we have also the tools like the e-bike, the tasting, and all the other things, the croissant making classes, and all the rest. All of this needs to be priced, because we can't afford, first of all, to have people cancelling or just not turning up anytime, because we do prepare before. There's food involved, there's bike rentals, anything. So we got cost involved. So these tours are prepaid. So the business evolved around this. We still want to deliver the free walking tours, because that's the little baby. That's where we grew up from. And it's something very special in my heart, because it's opening up the culture to everybody. So any kind of budget, students and everybody can access the culture, access the tour, and they can live whatever they feel comfortable with. So obviously, students live less than retiring people that have a bit more of a buying power. But in the end, that just make a beautiful mix and matching all these people from all over the world and becoming friends without, 2.5 hours. Everybody at the end of the tour kind of sometimes go for a drink or catch up with other to go to do some other things together. That's brilliant. That's what makes me vibe every day, connecting people as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have to love that if you're going to get into that business. But I wanted to highlight that because for anybody listening, you're traveling around, these free walking tours are offered in many places. So look them up, and now you know how the model works. So if you're on one of them, be sure to tip your guide appropriately, knowing that that's the main source of revenue.
It is the only source of income. Yep.
Yeah. And I think also, the story about how you started with that and have grown to what it is now is a great real world example of how a business evolves. And I think for anybody listening that is considering starting something for themselves, whether it's in travel or something else, but they can't see sort of like the path forward, you start with one thing, right? And then the other things that you kind of got into later, the platform and these different things, they came after the first thing. And I know that seems pretty obvious, but a lot of times we get stuck because we think, well, what are we going to do? This isn't going to be sustainable. How are we going to keep this going? Well, it's going to evolve into other things. You just need to get into the first thing and see what opens up and let it evolve and try to use your intuition and be open and be open to how it will evolve, instead of having like a fixed mindset, just kind of be open-minded. And certainly you've chosen a path with what you're doing now. It's funny you mentioned matching the people from all over the world and the joy you get from that, because I've found the same joy in some of my work. And I was looking on Wikipedia about the Riviera, and it said on Wikipedia it is the French Riviera is, quote, home to 163 nationalities with like over 83,000 foreign residents. Now, whether that's exactly accurate or not, it paints the picture of, some of the diversity in the region beyond just the French folks. Let's dig into the meat of this, the top 7 experiences you're going to pull from your experience living there and growing up there. Did you grow up
I didn't grow up there. I grew up in the middle of France, in a little village, quite religious. One of the starts to the Camino to Compostela. So it's called Le Puy-en-Velay. It's a little village, but it's more inland. Yeah, it's quite central. But I've been living in Antibes more than 10 years. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, I mean, growing up in France, living there, having the understanding of the French culture, and then your experience bringing together other nationalities and seeing it through their eyes, and kind of doing that matchmaking, like you said, and cultural exchange, which is the beauty of the tour operator industry, I guess. Bringing all of that experience, we're going to get into this list. First, I would just love for you to define how do you define the Riviera geographically, just so people can understand what we're talking about? And is that like an official region of France, or is it sort of like a broad term for a collection of coastal cities?
No, it is a broad term. It is a broad term. It's not quite a defined area. So it's hard to know where the French Riviera stop and start. We kind of know where it stop, just close to the border of Italy, right? After we go on the other side. So from Italy till pretty much, Cannes, Saint-Tropez, if you want to push it to the max. That's about what the French Riviera can be. After you more entering Provence with Marseille and all the other side, which same, it's a place where we don't know exactly where it starts and where it stops, and sometimes it probably overlaps. So it's a bit weird, but the French Riviera is really the coast. So you're focusing on 20 kilometers from the coast all along from Cannes to Monaco and Italy. That's the main French Riviera there. So you got the coastal cities, which are pretty much all linked to each other now because they've been growing so big, they spread out. So when you end up landing in Nice, when you go to Antibes or Cannes, you feel like it's just a suburb of Nice. You're just a little short train ride from it, 10, 20 minutes. So it's a very coastal path. And then you have a few, beautiful villages up the hill in the back. So that's still part of the Riviera as well. Within this, 20 kilometers inland type of thing. That's what we're looking at.
Okay. So let's get into the list. I'm not sure if you rank these based on your personal preference or if you have them categorized by
No, I just freestyle it, to be fair. I just put it as I was thinking about it. When you asked me to prepare seven activities, I just from the top of my head, like, what's the best thing to do and what's a bit out of the beaten track as well, as we discussed.
Perfect. All right, well, let's dive in then. I'll let you take the lead here. What's your first one?
Right. So the first one is the Cap d'Antibes coastal walk. So Cap d'Antibes is the peninsula next to Antibes. I don't know if you've done it when you went there.
Can you say the word one more time?
The Cap d'Antibes. So that the Cap is the peninsula in French. So that's the peninsula where you go around Antibes till Juan-les-Pins. So it's a very popular place for the rich and famous. It's full of big mansions, villas. There's 5-star hotel as well, where all the people go during the camping festival and all the rest. And then you end up in the other side of the bay called Juan-les-Pins, which is also a neighborhood of Antibes, more jazzy neighborhood. But anyway, this coastal walk is just amazing. It's something that people don't really go and explore. Simply because sometimes it's not that easy to access. So you can't walk from the old town of Antibes to there. Well, you can, but most people won't. First of all, because it's really hot and it's, fully unshaded. But the walk is just amazing. It's all along the coast on the rocky side. And then you go in between the mansions and all this. You got this unique flora as well, where you got all sorts of endemic plants and it's kind of a microclimate on the peninsula itself. So we got some very special and unique species who grow there. And it's just amazing. It's the most beautiful view over the Alps on the background. So if you're lucky to come till, May, sometimes you have the snow on the Alps in the background. It's just stunning. And all these historical castles and billionaires' properties. You got, you do think about Lagaroupe Castle or the Lacroix, Chateau Lacroix, which is still the property of Roman Abramovich, this famous Russian billionaire who used to come down to Antibes with his $1 billion yacht called Eclipse. That's just insane. Yeah, well, anyway, this beautiful path is just stunning. It's about 5 kilometers long, and you do this loop over 2.5 hours in general. So I do recommend to do it either in the morning or at sunset. Not the best time of the day, because like I said, it's not very... there's not much shade, so during the day it's quite hot. So make sure you get your hat, sunblock, and water when you go around. You can take a bus from the old town to Lagaroupe Beach. That's where one of the main start is, and start from there. Or you can do it the other way around, start from the other side, which is quite a funny name. The other start's called Fake Money Bay. Makes sense, right? When we know what kind of people are living there, sometimes you just assume that it's quite an interesting name for it. So you can start from there and then end up at the beach and have maybe dinner or drink at one of these beach restaurants. That's a good way to spend half a day in Antibes and around the Riviera. That's for sure.
Sounds like a terrible day. Just awful. No, I'm looking at some pictures. It looks incredible. And I guess the walk takes about a couple hours, would you say?
Yeah, 2.5 hours, depending on the pace. And you need to make sure that the sea is not rough, because you're very close to the sea. Sometimes it's dangerous. So they close it when it's too dangerous anyway.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Looks lovely. All right. What a great way to kick it off, Cedric. Well done for your first podcast. Killing it. All right. That's right up my alley, that kind of thing. I mean, I just, to wake up and do something like that's like a great travel day, great day on the road, I think.
Well, you're gonna take it easy with the number 2.
Okay. All right.
Number 2, I'm taking you to the island of Saint-Honorat, which is one of the 2 islands opposite Cannes. So what we call the Lérins Islands. And Saint-Honorat Island is the island where the monks are still living. So you go there, you can spend the day. There's 2 ferries, so one going to each of the islands. You got Sainte Marguerite, where you got this Fort Royal, where you used to have the story of the man with the iron mask, if you remember the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the based on the. I've read the novel a couple times. The
brother King Louis XVI,
the Count of Monte Cristo. Is that
That's a
the
different
story
one.
of the Count
That's
of
a
Monte?
different
No,
one.
that's a different one. Okay.
This
yeah.
one is around Marseille, but yeah.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
Anyway, so yeah, you got this island. The other one is where the monks are living. So they still have their monastery there. And they've been there for, 400 years now, at least. And they still produce their little wine and their little olive oil and the lavender, and they sell all these things. So you can take the ferry out for a day there. Just walk around the islands. Just beautiful, crystal clear waters all around. So obviously you take your swimsuits and stuff. Make sure you get a good swim out of there. And then just enjoy maybe going and stopping at the monastery for wine tasting, discovering this product. Just the serenity and the calm of the place. Most people will go, stay in Cannes or eventually cross over to the first island, but not so much the second one. So the second one is a bit untouched, and because the monks are there, it's so peaceful and quiet. It's beautiful. So you can enjoy the treasure of architecture with the beautiful monastery that's still there, all the different chapels that I've got. And then just, embracing this. What I do recommend is eventually if you're there on the first Friday of the month, they got a special day called Vineyards and Wines. And it's, they pre-sell a ticket with the ferry plus the wine tasting. It's super cheap and it's a very good day, easy, all entertained all the way through. Same, it's probably half a day or a day. You can stay longer. The ferries are coming back kind of depending on the season, but up to 6 p.m. type of thing. So you can enjoy a nice day.
Looks stunning. Can you do the Riviera affordably before we move on to the next? Like what are your top tips for doing it affordably?
Join the free walking tours. That's a good way to discover the cities themselves. Get some good tips from the guides who will tell you what to do and where to go after as well. This coastal walk that I mentioned, the first one in Antibes, is free. Going to the Monks Island in Saint-Honorat is fairly affordable. I think when they do this Friday thing, Vineyards and Wine, I think they sell it for 18 euros. Pretty reasonable for the wine tasting plus the ferry to cross over. There's definitely activities to do on the cheap. Also, you have just a basic tip, but when you go to Cannes or Antibes, you got all these private beaches now as well that you have to pay to get a seat or a drink or whatever on. And then you got the one run by the council, which are just right next to them, that they probably sell a seat for like a third or not even of the price. So it's sometimes not as poshy and it's not as, it's not the place where you go if you want to be seen, but it is quite affordable and you can still enjoy the same beach and the same sea, and pay 3 to 5 times less than what you will pay on a normal private beach.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take that over, quote, being seen. I can see myself in the mirror if I need to be seen. All right. All right. That's just me. Okay. Let's move on to the third one. Thanks for those tips, by the way. Yeah, it makes sense. Like you said, when you're breaking down some of the costs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on how
you can do very expensive rental Ferraris and go over the Monaco track and all these things. You can fly an helicopter over from Cannes to Monaco or Saint-Tropez. You can do all sorts of very expensive things, but you can also keep it on the low cost, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool.
The third one is a lovely one. It's a bit of a special one for me. I really like these people. So it's actually going a bit inland this time and going to visit one of the vineyards that are in the back of Nice. So you got a very few vineyards in the back of Nice. Most of them are more in the Var area, so more around Saint-Tropez and over this side. But when it comes to Nice, there's only a few, and they got a different appellation as well, called Bellay. But I found this one day that's family owned, and it's a very small little business, and they own this vineyard for decades or centuries. It's just insane. And they do it the very old traditional way. It's just the family, so mom, dad, and a couple of kids running the vineyards. And they have this very unusual way of leaving their wine. When they get the wine, they put it in the big jars and they leave them outside in the sun for like, I don't know how many days. And then after they process it again inside and all the rest in the barrels. But very different way of making wine. Like no others will do it this way. It's very unusual and very ancestral. So yeah, I just love this family. And every time we took people there, they're having a blast and they just can't believe what they've seen or done on this particular day. So that's what I love the most. They didn't have the best English, right? But they are desperate to communicate their love for their wine and their passion for the grapes and everything. So they'll try to give as much information they have. And of course, we're here as guides to help when we go there with people and translate a bit more. And we do the wine tasting after the visit. Generally, we always accommodate with like local cheeses and everything is very local. What I love as well is the owner, actual brother, used to be he's still an artist. And every time they bottle New Year's, is creating a new design for the bottle. So there's a piece of art on the bottle, which is made by also a family member. Just amazing. There's no more to say. It's called Domaine des Hautes Collines. It's a beautiful vineyard. It's a bit hard to reach, so you need a rental car. Buses will be too complex to go. Like it just doesn't happen. But we take people on taxi or bus. But when we got groups that want to go there, we take them on taxi or buses, and they have the time of their life up there, and they bring a lot of bottle back home.
Yeah, cool. All right. So do me a favor, because I know, with the French names and audio, it can be difficult for people. Would you mind at the end of this just sending me this list so we have like a written list?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That we can share in the show notes here.
100%.
Okay, that sounds incredible. Yeah, and if you want to link to those experiences on your website too, that's fine. Just send me whatever you want me to put up there. That sounds pretty much like the ideal winery visit to me, like family owned, local, hyper local, getting to see like a unique production method, really cool.
Sometimes we pair it and we take them to like a few of the beautiful ones as well. They've got beautiful castles around. So you can pair 2 or 3 and to go and visit a few, but they definitively prefer this particular one. The family-owned business is just the best part of the day for all of them.
Amazing. All right, we're on number 4.
Number 4, it's a bit of a train ride. Most of the French Riviera are not cheap when you end up staying in Nice, Cannes, Monaco, Antibes. You generally don't need the rental car. You just can easily travel around the coast on the train. It's super convenient, super cheap. We always recommend and we always take our visitors as much as possible on the train with us because it's cheap, it's fast. You don't need to park. Doesn't cost a fortune in parking. You arrive straight in the city centers. Best way to travel around on the coast. But this one is a particular one. Called the Train des Merveilles in French, which actually leave from Nice and go into the Valais, into the Alps. So that's something very different. You forget the glitz and glamour of the coast and you go into an adventure into the Alps. So starting from there, it's about 100 kilometers ride from Nice till Tende, which is the name of the last city where you stop and train turns around. There's about 1,000-meter elevation level in between the two cities. So you go up as well. And it's a perfect way to discover the back of the French Riviera, as well as, you go all over these bridges and viaducts. And obviously, in the summer, you have a guided version of this train. So there's an audio in the train to tell you about the cities and where you're going and what you're seeing all the way through, both in French and English, which is perfect. And there's about quite a few stops, probably 4 or 5 from the top of my head, in different cities as well. So you're most than welcome to just get what's called an unlimited ride pass for the day. And you can stop in these different cities, have a visit, They're all very different and beautiful. Sospel, Breuil-sur-Roya, Sorges, all of these cities are just beautiful and thin. And they can also lead you to go to departure for hikes or mountain bike rides. So that's a good way to do it as well. You can put the bikes on the train. It's free to put on the carrier. And you go up there. You tend to go early in the morning. You leave early in the morning. You get on the train. You stop. You do your hike or your mountain bike ride. You visit the cities and you come back at night. Amazing day out. And still
Sounds
not
epic.
expensive as well.
Wow. Okay, so this is the train day. Is it Merveilles?
Merveille.
Merveille. Yeah, it's translating. I'm reading it's translating train of wonders. I mean, who doesn't want to go on the train of
wonderful,
wonders?
the wonderful.
The wonderful train. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful day trip. And then you have the options to stop along the way, or if you want to do more active stuff, the hiking and the biking and things like that, plus getting the whole Riviera and Alps thing in the same day.
Yes, that's
pretty
it.
epic.
Yeah.
Pretty epic. All right. We're on number 5.
Number 5, you go on the water this time. So I was thinking, when you go to the French Riviera, you need to spend a bit of time on the water. And to me, one of the best way to do it is this company called Season, which I met quite a few times, and I tend to recommend them as much as I can as well. They're basically running some little solar panel catamaran. They've been doing this for quite a few years now. It's a beautiful, green, eco-friendly, and very calm way to navigate on the coast and discover the beautiful villa as well from the side. So peaceful. I don't know if you've been on a solar boat. There's no noise, no engine noise. It's just a dream. The Med is already pretty flat in general, right? So you just go over this and it's just so peaceful, so quiet, so calm. Got the most beautiful views. It's really a good day out on the water. Of course, there's plenty others and there's other options as well. But I really enjoy this part. Like our company, What to Do Riviera, we tend to focus a little bit on what can be eco-friendly at the same time. Because we are a big destination in terms of tourism, right? And the mass tourism has a big impact on us. Not in a good way sometimes. Trying to bring to people alternatives and different way of doing things. It's something that, I'm quite involved with as well, and I'm really enjoying this. So, this is a very good way to go on it. Of course, you can rent the thing by per hour. So you can go out during the day, half day, or just a sunset ride and have a drink of wine on the sunset on the boat. Brilliant day. I highly recommend.
Sounds lovely. What a way to enjoy the water. Since that quiet stillness of the solar boat. That's really cool. Plus, obviously, a bit more eco-conscious as well. I would say a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more. A lot more.
Yeah,
You're
a
right.
lot more. Right. All right. Well, we're down to the final 2.
So
I got high expectations after hearing the rest of this list.
number 6 is also one of my favorite day outs. It's a full day out when you leave from Nice or Antibes or wherever around the French Riviera you are based. You're going to the Gorge du Verdon. I don't know if you heard about this place. It's about 100 to 120 kilometers from Nice. And it's what they kind of called the Grand Canyon of Europe. So you go there. So either you got a private charters and things like this, or a bus to go there, or you rent a car and go there as well. You go in general till a place called Castellane, which is a nice village where you can pretty much start any kind of activities from there. So you have a good stroll over the village, beautiful village, and then head out to the gorge, which is there's a lake next to it, and you can start renting kayaks and pedalos and all these things, and you go down the river in the middle of the cliffs, the limestone cliffs, all the way. It's just the best day ever as well. Again, it's so impressive. The cliffs are so high. the water is so warm in the summer. You jump in and out. You have a fight with the people around with their kayaks. You flip them over. They flip you over. It's a lot of fun. Just a good way to do it is going there quite early as well. So you beat the crowd because there can be quite a bit of people on the river. This is something that is popular. And then on the way back, you take your drive back on the Route des Crêtes, which is on top of the cliffs. And then you stop in Moustier, which is another beautiful village as well to end up your day. And coming back home, it's a full-on day. You'll be tired and you'll sleep very well, but it's an incredible and a little bit sporty kind of day to spend more in nature than on the concrete.
It looks absolutely stunning.
Have you seen some photos online as well?
Yeah, I'm just looking while you were telling me about it. It's just looks incredible.
The waters are just green, blue, like
it's just
crystal,
like that
yeah,
brilliant
beautiful.
blue. Yeah, it's insane. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, you're literally just planning my trip for me right now.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's a pretty good trip, to be fair. Yeah, that's a
and
good
we've still
idea.
got one more.
If you're here for a few days, you can definitely fit all of this in, and you have a ball.
Yeah.
Should we go for the last one then?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, I'll have to be honest with that. It's a bit of one of my creation because I do have so much pleasure as well running it. It's our anti-Provençal tasting tour. The tasting tour, coming to this part of France, you're pretty much entering a new part where it got its own very traditional cuisine and food culture. So every single part of France got different type of food and recipes, food habits because of a different climate, a different resources, veggies, whatever growing around locally before. So that was very much based on what was growing around. And obviously in the south, we have very Mediterranean type of cuisine, so close to the Italian style as well. We like to fight over recipes with the Italians, to be fair as well. That's always a thing that we played with. But yeah, coming to this walking and tasting tour, you discover the very local food and drinks. It's you can always start with the first experience, which is one of the highlights of the tour. Anyway, it's going to the Absinthe Bar in Antibes. I'm sure you've been there, right? Tell me you've been there.
To where?
The Absinthe Bar in Antibes.
Oh man, it was so long ago. I was on a pretty extreme budget, so probably not.
Well, next time you're coming over, I'm taking you there. I'm telling you this. This is a very unique place, and everybody fall in love with this as well. It's a bar, but it's also look like a little bit of an absinthe museum. There's so many fontaines and spoons and bottles and jars and whatever related to absinthe from back in the days. And it's actually all happening in this, one of the oldest Roman cellar that you can get into in Antibes. The arch probably from the 11th century. There's still the old well, the Roman well from the 8th century in there. You can sit in it. It's just so old.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I can see
you back in time.
Some pictures of it. It looks
You're back
incredible.
in time every time.
What an environment. Yeah.
It is stunning. And
The
then you
absinthe
experience
bar.
Yeah. And then you experience the absinthe as the French way, as we're doing it, because most people are scared of the drink, right? Because they've been doing shots in this Europe or wherever. They've burned it. They're doing all these things crazy. And they got sick. But we teach them the French way of doing it, and we explain how, where does this recipe come from? And it's fascinating, the story behind it. So it's a very, very cool, fun time there. Another stop is the wine cellar, where we have our very knowledgeable sommelier who pick up always very local and organic wines from the area, local producers. So it's not anything like a wine that you can buy from overseas or anywhere else. They don't even export. They're too small. So that's a beautiful place as well to discover a bit more of our local wines. And then we pair that with some cured meats and cheeses as well, and it's lovely. And our last place is our local caterer. So he's one of our very talented local caterer in Antibes called Cédric, and is amazing, and is preparing for us individual little portions of all the local specialities. So you get really to try a lot of them in one spot, and it's a very friendly little business as well. Him and his wife, just the two of them, super lovely, super welcoming. It's always a good buzz. And in general, when it's got like, I do remember so many nights, because we do run this mostly in evenings, sometimes during lunchtime as well. But in the evening, it's the best way to finish a day. The tour start around 4:30, finish at 7:30-ish. But so many times I end up, we have a few drinks, we have some good food, and everybody's starting to be on a high, and we joke, and, it's very lively. How many times I end up taking my clients after the tour and say, okay, let's go out for another drink, or let's go out, and we end up having the biggest parties with random people. But I was loving it. That was just my thing. It was just beautiful to share this time with these people. There's so many good places to go on and continue the party after in Antibes. So obviously, to me, that's the perfect end of a day. So you can go out and do other things and enjoy a nice evening with good food and good drinks and good people.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, epic list. Again, I'll ask you to send it over so we can have this written so people can look up these things for themselves. I mean, if you are going to do, let's say, the majority of things on this list that you shared today, where do you think is the best place to base in terms of having a hotel? Do you think it'd be like if somebody's coming to the Riviera for a week, do you think it'd be better to like switch hotels and stay in a couple different places, or would you just base in one city?
Look,
or
most people, they fly into Nice, they base themselves out of Nice. It's popular. A lot of people are staying there. From experience, all of our travelers, many of them have been staying in Nice. And when they discover Antibes afterwards, they're like, we should have stayed here. It's only a 20 minutes ride. So yes, you can, or you can take a cab as well. Instead of going to Saint-Denis, they go to Antibes. It's pretty much the same time. And then you end up into a more, quaint city. It's not as busy. It's a bit more, you got a little market open every day except Mondays, or during the season it's open actually every day of the week. So you can go and shop and do your little cooking on your own if you got an Airbnb or something. Also, one thing to consider is people don't really know about it, but in Antibes and Cannes you got Sandy Beach, where in Nice it's Pebblestone. So it's not like people like the Seine as well. And I do like the Antibes as a base because you got Cannes on one side, Nice and Monaco on the other. Nice is probably slightly more central in terms of time in between Monaco and Cannes. But for the experience, the quaintness, the beautiful little village feeling, I'll base myself in Antibes more than Nice.
I love it. I would love to go back. What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about the French?
That they are rude. No, we can come across a bit rough sometimes. And we were actually talking. I was talking to someone yesterday night as well from New Zealand about it, and she was having this experience as well, where people were telling her, "Oh, you'll see the French are so rude and they're not very helpful and all this." And when she came, she said, I was making sure that I was prepared to speak a few words, bonjour, merci, s'il vous plaît, just the basic few words to go around and try to show a bit of interest in their culture, in our culture. And that's something that I think we appreciate a lot. Like when people do a bit of an effort to try to speak the language, not turn up and say, hey, I just want to order this, all in English, without any, presuming everybody understand, everybody speak English everywhere. No, not necessarily. It doesn't work in Italy either. It doesn't work in Spain. When you go outside of the big cities, if you don't put a bit of an effort, it's hard to get around and ask for things. And some people don't even speak English. Like I remember going to Brazil, and even the taxi driver from the airport was not even talking English. So I had a bit of Spanish and Portuguese around my sleeves, but it's the fact that you are showing a bit of interest for their culture and you're making an effort, straight away they will turn back and answer in English anyway for most of the French Riviera, because we do have a lot of international travelers, so we get to speak a bit of English. We're a bit shy of our English. Our English is generally not very good, so that's also a barrier to it. But yeah, it's not being rude. I think and she said she had the best experience afterwards, and everybody was nice and lovely and helpful, and they were giving her some stuff, and she had a very good experience with us, which is great, because it's an easy way. And I guess, everybody's different. You can end up with a nice person or a bad person one day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I
mean, when you're speaking the language like that too, it is encouraging to hear. And that's great advice, I think. It kind of takes the pressure off. Like if you remember, okay, I'm going to completely butcher this, or like, this is going to sound totally wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway, because I understand that the person on the other end is going to see that I'm making an effort. So it doesn't really matter how bad I screw this up.
I know.
What I mean? They're going to know I'm not from here, and they're going to at least appreciate it. And maybe even if they don't speak English or your language or whatever, that, then at least you're making a little progress to a connection.
That's right. And then from there, even not speaking the same language, the sign language and the gesture and everything, we always understand each other at the end of the day.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, you need the effort on both sides to work.
Cool, man. I love it. Last question. What is your best advice for anybody that wants to work in travel, like business advice that you've learned so far?
I guess it depends if you want to be a business owner, create something, or just work for someone. It's a bit different. We haven't talked about it, but I'm actually a travel agent as well now. So I've joined this a few years ago. I add this to my skills. I wanted to know the whole industry from beginning to end. So I can now understand from the minute someone wants to go on a flight, go somewhere, to when they have a tour and have an experience. I know the whole thing now. So that's give me a good overall view on the industry. Very different from the retailing parts of selling tours or flights or whatever to doing experiences and things like this. So I do enjoy more the experience part, where you meet the people, when you spend time with them. It's a bit more personal. Not that being a travel agent is not personal. You meet the people and you try to understand what they're really looking to do during the travel. It's a personal thing as well. Especially as a broker, I want to make sure that, I really understand who they are, how do they want to travel, to make sure I deliver exactly what they want. That's key. So it's a different game. It's very interesting, very exciting to prepare. And if you're a good organizer, to help people build their dream holiday, that's very exciting and very rewarding as well. When they come back and they said, thanks, we had an amazing time. We've done this. The hotel was amazing. The planes were on time. Not always the case, but, they generally remember the good times, that anything you help them do. Or I've got a request lately for some people from New Zealand again, who are going to travel in France. And the guy is really fond of tennis. He loves to play tennis. And he's like, I want you to find me someone who I can play tennis with, a French guy. So I'm on a mission to find a French player to play with him. But that's so cool. That's exciting. And I'm sure we're going to make it happen. I'm not worried at all. And this guy will remember his trip if I make it happen, just because I find him a guy to play in France tennis, as he loves tennis. It's about the experience that you can build as a travel agent, travel broker, and it's the experience you can give as a person on site, with experiences and activities. That's another type of connection. It's so rewarding as well when you got reviews from people saying, we had the best day ever. I didn't know you 2.5 hours ago. If you come back to my town one day, just shout out and we host you. You come, we'll show you around. You make friends in no time. It's just amazing. That's what I like about the travel industry and being into activities and experiences.
Amazing. Well, if you're vibing with Cedric here, whattodoRiviera.com is the hub for all of the experiences we mentioned today. And then, of course, freewalkingtours.com we can link up to, and really got nothing to lose there. Free walking tour. I mean, can't beat the price.
Well, to be fair, it's not fully free this year. We have to introduce. Tips. I'll tell you one thing to be transparent as well. As I said, most of these tip-based tours are running in big cities, so they have generally a lot more people than us. We tend to maximize our number to 20. Sometimes in big cities you can go up to 50 people on tours. So then you don't have the connection, you don't have any interaction with the guides, and it's not what we want to deliver. But also, what happened lately is, people book, and because they don't pay for it, they don't necessarily feel they need to commit. So we have a lot of no-shows. So for this particular reason, this year, we have tried a new thing. We have put a little booking fee. It's nothing much. It's a €2 booking fee, just to make sure that they put their credit card and they feel a bit more engaged. And you'll see that we pretty much dropped any no-shows. People are still coming. They don't mind paying the €2 booking fee, and they still tip whatever they feel like at the end of the tour to reward the guide. But it's changed the game, and we can predict a bit more and deliver better service having this booking fee as a small little city.
Thanks. Thanks for letting people know. Yeah, I will link up to all this stuff. You'll send me the list, I guess, and then I just encourage people, hey, let us know when you want to meet up on Antibes or in the French Riviera, because I'm planning my trip there. I think,
come on, buddy.
After this, I am stoked. Thanks for your time, man. It was so great getting to know you, and I appreciate you sharing your expert knowledge on this region of the world. Yeah, look forward to staying in touch.
Well, thanks for inviting me today. That was a brilliant experience. First one, I loved it, and I always love to share my knowledge and make people make the most of their trip on the French Riviera. So you're most welcome.
And congrats on your first podcasts.
Yeah.
In the books, in the can, as they say. Take care, Cedric.
You too. Thanks, Jason.
There you have it. Thank you to Cedric for bringing his local knowledge to this podcast, helping us discover some new places around the French Riviera. Of course, you can find his work over at whattodoRiviera.com. We'll link up to everything in the show notes. Before I let you go, I had that triple F to share fun facts about France. First of all, just a quick reminder, zerototravel.com/newsletter. All the news goes out there. Not really current events news, more like travel news, travel goodies, destinations, tips, some personal musings, all that good stuff. It's all happening off the pod on the newsletter. So you can sign up over there. It is free and it goes out once a week. Now, I was looking up some fun facts about France, and of course, AI pumped some stuff out. And you probably know it's the most visited country in the world in terms of tourists. Maybe you know that France holds the record for the most Nobel Prizes in literature. No surprise there, considering the history of writing and writers in France. But did you know, at least according to the AI, that the first camera phone was invented in France? So you have France to thank for your next selfie, I suppose. All right, we'll close this one out with a quote from Joan of Arc, who said, "I am not afraid. I was born to do this." Now, if you're on the fence with anything that you feel like you have to do, I thought this could be a pretty cool mantra to leave you with. I am not afraid. I was born to do this. Pretty empowering, right? So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Peace and love to you and yours. Cheers.
This podcast has been brought to you by zerototravel.com. Ideas and advice to make your travel dreams a reality.